Hey there, I'm Terrie, and I'm the intuitive healer for folks who have anxiety and want to access their soul evolution and intuition. There's more than meets the eye here as we chat and hang out in these episodes that have spiritual, esoteric, multidimensional, somatic, quantum techniques, tools, and tips to help you get unstuck and move you forward in your day-to-day life. So join me in discovering your path to help you clear anxiety of the past, align your energy to the present, and create your new future. Well, hello, and how's your heart? How's that wonderful, beautiful heart of yours? I hope it's well. Welcome to the portal with Terrie Huberman. I decided it's just too much work. It's not like it's too much. It's just that I don't necessarily have the time to do everything. So I decided I would just record the visual aspect, since Zoom also records the audio aspect of the portal, and I usually use the video anyways when I'm doing interviews. So I'm like, all right, I'll just talk to the camera. It's just a lot of work to be editing and all of this stuff for YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you get to see me. And if you're hearing this on all the other platforms, you get to hear me. But this is the very, very first episode being released in 2024. It is now the year 2024. Technically, I'm recording this on December 31st, 2023. So I am time traveling to 2024. So there's that. It's very interesting because in my newsletter, which by the way, if you want to get on, I would love to have you on my newsletter. For 2024, the first newsletter is all about resolutions and how having a resolution can be so pressuring. Right? And how I'm actually not going into 2024 with a resolution. I already feel like there's so much pressure on us. And then as an empath, we're taking on other people's challenges, emotions, physical disabilities. Everything and anything is what we will absorb as a way to sort of anticipate what somebody else's needs are, which is why we're so fantastically intuitive. And it's just a lot to take on something that society is actually pressuring us to do. Granted, I do think it's coming from a good place. I do think resolutions at its roots are coming from a good place, right? It's to inspire and motivate you and to keep your word, basically, which is great and fantastic. The thing is we as humans, we naturally rebel. Naturally, we also are not necessarily ready to take on a pressure that someone else puts on us, right? And when we do that, what happens? We fail, or at least in our minds, we fail. And then what happens? We become defeated. We become angry. We become frustrated. And who are we frustrated and angry and disappointed in? Ourselves. So it's not so much about having and keeping a resolution, if you ask me. It's about your commitment and authenticity to yourself. And are you ready for it? And if you're not ready for it, that's okay. But you got to be honest and authentic with yourself, right? And you got to be like, no, I don't want to do this, or yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to give you an example. And if you operate like this, that's totally cool. This will resonate, right? So this may resonate or not resonate with you at all. I don't know. But for a while, so 2023 for me was a very physical year. What do I mean by physical? It showed up in the physical world and in my body a lot. A lot. Earlier in 2023, I was rear-ended, and that caused my back, my neck, my shoulder, my right foot to be in pain. And so that was in March. And we're well, today as I record this is December 31st, but we're listening to this in 2024. And my tailbone, which wasn't even part of the problem, is now in pain. Part of the treatment that I was getting affected my tailbone, and now my tailbone is in pain. Everything else is okay except my tailbone. So this year, personally, I had to deal with a lot of physical pain and getting over that, right? And in that process, I came to the realization that I want to take better care of my earth suit. I do want to take better care of my body, but I wasn't quite ready and I didn't know how. And so time would go on, but that thought or that seed was in my head. And I would think about it and I'm like, well, what would I do? How would I do this? And I kept thinking, well, I know it has something to do with my food, right? Like somehow, some way, I just don't know what it is. And then I went for my physical in July, because my birthday's in July. So every year I pretty much go in July around my birthday to get my annual physical. And the doctor was like, I don't like your cholesterol numbers, which I'm now finding out are not as bad as they initially told me they were. But that was a conduit, or it was a springboard, or an ignition, however you want to call it, that I was like, oh man, I want to take better care of my health. Clearly, my body is speaking to me, and I don't want it to yell at me. I just want it to speak to me because I understand and I know how this works. I know how the universe plays its little game. First, they talk, your spirit guides, your cosmic family, whoever it is, they talk to you by showing you little things. And then they yell at you by causing conflict, like big conflict, right? Which the accident for me was actually a really big conflict. So I decided at that point I was going to make a change for my body. Again, did not know how, did not know what this would look like, none of that. I just knew that the seed was growing and I was becoming more and more ready. Yes. So my doctor mentioned that her husband has a weight loss health coaching program. And I was like, okay, I could use some weight loss, although I'm really more focused on the actual health of my body versus the weight of my body. I've had weight issues my entire life since I was a wee little goo. So the weight I already was like, I knew the challenges. My weight has fluctuated. I have had weight loss surgery. I've done all of the things, okay? Weight has pretty much been a huge part of my life, but I've come to a point where I'm like, my health is more important than my weight. And thankfully, my health as general is good. Like, thank you. Thank you. So, but it's still, the seedling was there, right? So it's starting to come up, and so she's like, why don't you try this program? And she said her husband was a functional medicine doctor, which I am way more in proponent for. Is that what you say? I'm way more of an advocate for, because they look at you holistically. They look at your family. They look at like what's going on with work. So it's more of a 360 degree of you, not just your physical body. So I said, okay, you know what? The program was like a 6-month program, I think. I was going to do it. I could feel inside me, I could feel that I was ready to do something and I was going to make this commitment. And I just didn't know how, what, or anything like that. so I went ahead and I switched over to to the doctor, and now I'm in this program, and I've been doing this program now since August. It's December, and I feel incredibly great because I've cut out a lot of processed foods. I cut out a lot of sugar, not all sugar, but a lot of sugar. And I changed my diet. I actually eat a Mediterranean diet. I did the keto diet. When did I do that? In 2019, 2018, 2019. And my body actually really liked it. I dropped a lot of weight, but my heart, I guess, is where the cholesterol kind of lives. I'm not really sure. But my cholesterol went up, and that's when it started to go cray-cray because of the keto diet. And I'm like, screw that. So, and plus, I've done a lot of evolution and changing. I understand body, mind, spirit. I understand so much more now than I did then. So I have to forgive that version of myself from then and just now jump into my current timeline of who I am in this now moment, and then work and create a new identity for what I want to do in the future, right? Which is have a more healthy body, because my body's been talking to me through the universe has been saying, hello, this might be something that you want to work on. So my soul now is working on the will aspect of evolving itself, and it's showing up for me in a very physical way with my body. So I made the commitment and I did it, and I'm doing it, and I'm loving the way that I feel. I thought it would be harder. It is more expensive, and that sucks. So I am not going to sugarcoat that. And I'm not going to like deny myself the fact that I do have resentment towards how expensive things are. Thank you, government. But that's a whole other sideline we can go on. But my point of all of this is somehow, some way, I don't even know how, because I haven't necessarily been trying to lose weight. What I've been trying to do is feel better. I'm down 21 pounds going into the new year. Yay, Terrie. But here comes resolution time, right? That everybody is pressured to make. Yeah, there is something I would love to do, and that would be to drink my morning coffee without sugar or some sort of flavoring, right? You know, like hazelnut or coconut. I love coconut and peppermint, all of that, right? So I am not ready to give that up. My morning coffee to me, for some reason, is like a gift from God. I don't understand. I don't know why. I don't even know if I have to really assess and analyze why it's so meaningful to me, but it is. And there is no way I'm giving that up. And that's what my resolution would be. Give that up, but I'm not ready to. I don't want to. I'm fully aware and I'm fully in my authenticity when I say hell no. Right? Because if you think about it, you guys, as we move on this path forward in life, something is always going to come up that we are going to need to either adapt to or change or be forced to change. So there's our own choices or, you know, the universe choosing for us and showing us in a very obvious way. That's how I'll say that, very obvious way. So I'm not giving up my morning coffee. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because my doctor actually went to my doctor the other day, and he was like, you need to stop with the sugar in the coffee. And I flat out said, no, I'm not going to. No. You want to see little rebel Terrie? Here she is. Little girl Terrie stomping on the ground, 2 years old, going, no, I don't wanna. No, I'm not ready. So why am I going to take on something, for example, like a resolution, and not authentically follow through on what I say I'm going to do, which would be no sugar in my coffee? And those flavorings have a lot of sugar. So that's why I'm saying flavor and sugaring. I'm sort of equating them. No, 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 no. I don't know if my doctor's going to be watching this or not, but no. I told you to your face, no. I'm not going to set myself up for failure knowing I cannot follow through on this. And I think that's the problem with resolutions, is that we are so pressured to come here, not here, but just to have some sort of like, again, the intention is good. So it's not like the intention is bad. It's not coming from a bad place. I feel like it's been distorted. And then it becomes competitive. And what happens in competition? The ego is activated into lack or scarcity mode. This person can do this. This person has A, B, or C, and I don't. I'm not good enough. I'm not whatever, blah, 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 blah. So, no, you don't have to have a resolution. Some people feel like they have to. For a while there, what I would do is instead of have a resolution, what I actually did was I would have a theme word. I didn't like that. Be careful for what you ask for, right? Because I remember the year before, what is that, 2022? My theme word was bold. Thinking, oh, I'm going to have a bold year. I'm going to make stands and all of this stuff. And yeah, I did. I shaved my head in September of 2022. It's thankfully growing out back now. I don't regret doing it. I did it as an energy experiment, knowing hair holds so much energy. I had hair down to here. I was more blonde. I mean, this is my natural color, and I thought I'd have more gray, but I don't, thankfully. But my hair was blonde, and I miss the blonde, so I'm probably going to go back to blonde. But it was a big change, and that was a very bold move. Energetically, it reset my entire life. I don't suggest you do it unless you're ready for what comes from it. You know that Samson and Delilah story where Samson cuts his hair? My entire life was reset. And I do feel like part of this body thing and this physical experience in 2023 is part of that result, or is a result or part of that experiment that I did, and financially tanked. Right? The only area I actually did really great, like so incredibly great in, was relationship. Getting out of really bad negative patterns, identifying them, not having my heart broken by myself because of my patterns. So I thrived when it came to relationship, not because I was in a relationship, but because I could identify my patterns and got myself out of the heartache and heartbreak of how I was doing that to myself. But back to this whole resolution thing, you can take this on a grander, bigger scale. Don't say you're going to do something you're not ready to do. Follow through on your word, no matter what your word is. From the smallest things to the biggest things, it becomes an issue of integrity. And that was another reason why I wanted to start my health journey. I call it my health journey. Whether I lose weight or not, that's not the important part of me, is getting my health, my mental, physical, emotional. I mean, I was doing almost everything except the physical part, mental, emotional, spiritual. Gotcha. Financial, still in progress because I tanked and I got to get myself out of the hole. Yeah. Process. It's all process. But I wasn't tackling or tending to, that's a better word. I wasn't tending to the physical part. And so I was definitely being shown, hey, Terrie, now it's time. And I was able to step into that. And I continue to step into that because I want to be in integrity, not only with myself, but with my clients. If I'm going to tell you to do something, I got to do it myself. Practice what you preach. And I have to remind myself over and over and over again, what is my why for this health journey? Why am I keeping my word to myself? And it's only because I was ready to make these changes. And I authentically said, I'm going to go on this path, on this journey. And I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what it's going to smell like, taste like, sound like, feel like. I'm not going to know any of those things. I have the support though, because support is super, super important when you're on a journey. Support is incredibly important. This particular program has like a nutritionist, has the doctor. They measure you, weigh you, everything. They look at like your metabolic age, which by the way, I'm so old metabolically. But no, right? So if you're going to do something, if you're going to resolve to do something, make good on it. Make good on it. Be in integrity. The way we get what we want in life, the way we reach our goals, the way we make the money, the way we make whatever it is when our thoughts, our speech, and our actions are congruent. They're all the same thing. There's follow through on all of these things. Otherwise, one of those is out of balance, and then there's a misalignment. And then whatever it is we want or working towards cannot happen. So no, you do not have to have a resolution. But if you do, you better make good on it. You better make good on it. And it doesn't matter if anybody else knows about it. It's about making good about it with you yourself, and you. The big you, the higher soul you, and then the little you, the lower nature, lower soul, human part of you. That's all that counts. That's all that matters. Right? So if you're not going to make a resolution, you are not going to get any judgment from me. No way. No, 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 no. And as a matter of fact, if you don't follow through on anything that you say, I still don't want to judge you. I want to help you. I want to hold your hand as you get to the point where those inklings start to come up and those thoughts start to bubble and you're like, should I, shouldn't I? And you're not making your decision or choice then or yet, because it does come. Even if it takes a few years, it doesn't matter. I just had a client who has been watching me and has had a couple readings from me. So she's been in my world, I guess you can say, for, I think she had mentioned like 5 years. And she says, I'm just now ready for you. It took her 5 years to step into her place of, I'm going to do what I say and say what I do. Mean what I say and say what I mean. 5 years. So these thoughts can be, brewing for a while before you take action on it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong. So it doesn't matter how long, but if it's brewing, that's kind of the universe saying, you may do something about it, like a little nudge. You may do something about it, So that's the scoop on the poop with resolutions. So, my prayer for you is that you can step into your authenticity, that you can have the maturity to say, no, I'm not ready yet, and not judge yourself or feel bad or angry at yourself because you're not going to take that step. Because that actually is what we would call acceptance. And that is the new platform. That is neutrality. That is actually where you can start creating and manifesting the life that you want from that place. Honesty, authenticity, acceptance. Okay. So I'm not going in with a resolution, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to have society tell me I have to do something that I'm just not ready for. I don't want to get angry at myself. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to feel hurt. I don't want to feel rejected by myself, by me. I don't want to end up abandoning myself because I can't do something society wants me to do. If life is a game, then we are the programmers. Okay. Our teammates are our cosmic family, our spirit guides, the divine, our spiritual teachers, our master's teachers, loved ones, saints of all traditions, all the holy angels, holy archangels, our higher soul. They are our co-creators. So they're our teammates. And so we get to curate this video game. We get to curate this game. And I have finally, and hopefully you have, and if you haven't, that's also okay. Hopefully you're working towards at some point. And if you're not yet, that's still okay. But working towards going, if I'm the creator of my reality, if I'm the programmer of this game, I just don't want to participate, or I don't want to do things that just don't feel good. And therefore, I have the option, opportunity, and gift to say no. And because we live in an abundant universe, it's and, not or. And if we screw up or we make a mistake, we can clean up the mess. We can repair any relationship ruptures. We can put back together the pieces that we might have broken. That actually brings us in trust and connection even stronger, also maybe known as a bond with someone, by the way. So it's totally okay to screw up and mess up as long as you take ownership. And again, we come back to this authenticity and what your truth is and your integrity of what you mean. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Follow through. Make sure everything is congruent. So 2024, man, we are here. 2024. I don't know if you guys want to hear this or not. I'll quickly give it to you. Although it's interesting because I did, when was it? A couple months ago, like a month or two ago. I was on the Paranormal Karen podcast giving 2024 predictions, and I wrote them all down. But even since then, I've had some more insights, I guess you can say. So I'm going to read to you what my predictions are for 2024. Animals are going to be highlighted. So you're going to hear more stories, more animal stories. There's also probably going to be more laws pertaining to animals that come up, right? You'll hear about more hunting, more attacks. I can't speak. Attacks. Mercury retrograde is ending very soon. So it's like, what are you saying, Terrie? More attacks, even more sicknesses. There's going to be some animals are going to be highlighted. I know that for right now, there's this canine flu virus going around. So just be careful with your doggy dogs. Another prediction is that Israel's going to come out with some sort of cure or medication that's going to control some sort of disease, possibly cancer. I mean, I know that they're pretty top up there with cancer work and studies and research and all that. And it's going to help turn around some of the PR that is going on around Israel. There's going to be a big, huge breakthrough of treatment of sickness or illness. It's going to come out. And this part feels more US based. So something's going to come through. There'll be some sort of breakthrough in 2024. It's going to seem like some celebrities just kind of like fall off the radar. They're going to be cocooning themselves. And it seems like they're dropping off the face of the earth. And it's because they themselves are going through an awakening process. If you guys are familiar at all or have experienced an awakening, what you'll want to do is just kind of like keep to yourself, stay in your own lane. So we're going to start seeing celebrities either that have already dropped off and they come back and they're like, I needed to like slow my roll, or there's just gonna be talk about that. Less and less people are going to be watching the news because the media, because they see what BS the media is. The political polarization here in the United States is going to continue, and you'll be hearing more and more about sides. Can't read my writing. Sides switched. So the primary parties out here are Republican and Democrat. So you're going to start seeing more like Democrats coming to the Republican side. And there's going to be shock. So there's going to be some sort of shock in this. Like, come on, man. It's election year. Of course, there's going to be like, I hate election years. I hate politics. The little guy, like mom and pop stores, they're going to really do well. They're going to really do well. I wrote because they won't be following the rules that the big guys use. So more and more people are going to be going more small, more towards, you know, personalization, stuff like that, the mama pops. You're also going to hear more stories of miracles and wonderful things. You're also going to be experiencing miracles. Guys, be open to miracles. Don't define a miracle as some big, huge thing that has to happen. They can be small little things that you never thought in a million years would happen. Like you hear from somebody that you haven't heard from in ages. Okay. And you'll hear, or there will be like more miraculous events that show up. So that's what I had predicted for on the Paranormal Karen podcast. But what I have been getting is also, so I'm starting to really look more and research more and learn more about solar flares, because I heard that there's going to be like a very big solar year. I already tracked the Schumann resonance, because Schumann energy, resonance energy, which is the Earth's electromagnetic field, shows up for me in a very physical way, especially with anxiety. Like I will feel the anxiety in my body. Oh, no, excuse me. My bad. I'm getting this mixed up. I will feel it. It's more emotional. Schumann for me is more emotional. The solar, what I've been noticing when there are different classes of solar flares, when the solar flares flare, when they do the solaring, because, God be Godding, I tend to get migraines and headaches. So I get a more physical, like, and the solar information is harder for me to understand. I'm not a scientist, but I'm an energist. So I know when something's going up. So when I mentally or physically feel something, actually it's more emotional, well, mental and emotional together. When I feel something, I'm like, I go to these apps and I'm like, what is going on here? And I see that there's activity. I'm like, okay, good. Just because I'm sensitive to energy, it helps me keep my sanity. So anyways, there's going to be a lot more solar flares. And what does solar do? It ignites, right? And it hits the electromagnetic field of the earth, right? So it influences, they're called geomagnetic storms. It influences the energy here on Earth. We can have radio blackouts, stuff like that. And of course, because we are an electromagnetic field, it's going to affect us. So it also feels like that's the opportunity from a spiritual aspect because of the incoming energy. What it does is it's going to be knocking out the denser, thicker, darker. All dark energy is slower moving energy, and it feels heavier because the body can detect it. That's why sometimes you're just like, this place feels so thick or sludgy, or you're just like, it's because the energy waves are moving slow enough that your brain is processing that information and data in like a sensing through one of your senses, which is what sensing is, what touch, basically touch. So like you can feel it in your body. So this light that's coming in is very high frequency, very fast moving. Your brain and your body will not be detecting it. But what it does is it comes in and goes, and it like pushes, it forces that dark, dense energy to like come up. And in this process of coming up, this is like dark night of the soul. This is the awakening. This is what's called enlightenment. The light comes up, breaks that down, all of that dark, dense energy, and then it gets into pieces, and then it gets thrown out. Think of it like a volcano, right? It's like it has to come out. So the light is coming in, pushing up the lighter frequency, faster moving energy waves is coming in to crack, break down, push out all that dense, slower, thicker, darker energy to come up. So that's going to give us a lot of opportunity for evolution. And because there's a lot of that happens, it's abundant. So you're going to see, and also numerologically, it's such a hard word to say. This year for 2024 is an 8, which is about abundance. So there's going to be a lot of everything, a lot of good and a lot of bad, if you want to simplify it. So, I guess Mother Earth has a resolution or a theme, which is abundance. So that does mean people will be making more money. That also means people will be getting into more arguments. That also means people will be getting into more relationships. So there's just abundance, abundance, abundance. Okay. Both good and bad. But there is such a huge amount of waking up that's going to happen this year because of those solar flares. The energy is coming in and pushing. So hold on, it's going to be a ride. I don't feel like it's going to be as hard as last year. 2023 felt very lesson oriented. Did you guys notice that? Like, I just feel like I have to do my numerology. I think 2023, I was a 1. I can't remember. But anyways, it felt like a flattening, a restart, a reboot, like start from the basics again. Here are your lessons. And then, it's almost like I feel like 2024 for a lot of us is going to be implementing those lessons and moving forward with them. But either way, I'll be here until I'm not here. So thank you for joining me on this episode of The Portal. I do not want you, here's what I'm going to leave you with. I do not want you to feel bad, angry, mad, sad, any of those things if you don't have a resolution, even if you're feeling pressured to have one. Just say no. Just say no. Be authentic. Just say no, it doesn't feel right for me. Or you don't even have to justify it. You say, no, that's okay. Thank you. Be kind about it. Definitely be kind. But no, you don't got stuff. You don't have to. All right. Let's have a great 2024, right? Define great. It's going to be different for each of us. Yes? Yes, yes. All right, you guys, stay connected. Take care of that beautiful, wonderful heart of yours, and I'll see ya on the flip side. Bye. Well, our time in this now moment together has ended, but another now moment is on its way. Thank you so much for joining me in this human journey and listening to this podcast, The Portal with Terrie Huberman. I sure hope you're getting something out of it. I'm here to help you clear anxiety from the past, align your energy into the present, and help you create your future. My prayer for you is to find the peace and calmness in any given now moment so you can recognize when blessings are afoot and you get to choose your next adventure. Be curious and stay connected. You can always find me at terriehuberman.com. Bye now.